14 aces to 4. 10 winners to 25. Look at those numbers without seeing the names or final scores, and you would probably assume Alex Eala lost both matches. She didn't lose either one. In back-to-back days at the DC Open in Washington, Eala took down two proven champions in two completely different ways. On Tuesday, she defeated Olympic gold medalist and former world number 4 Jang. On Wednesday, she eliminated Fernandez, the defending Washington champion and a former US Open finalist. Two champions. 2 days. Two brutal tests. And in both matches, Eala found herself in serious trouble. Against Jang, she lost the opening set and later fell behind by a break in the second. Against Fernandez, she trailed 5-1 in the second set and looked headed toward a deciding third. Eala was also beaten in the statistics that normally determine who walks away with the victory. Jang dominated the ace count. Fernandez dominated the winner count. Yet somehow, Eala survived both matches. That does not automatically make her a top 10 player, but it reveals a quality almost every top 10 player possesses: a higher floor. It is the ability to win when your best shots are not showing up on command. The ability to remain calm while the player across the net becomes impatient. The ability to hang around long enough for a more powerful opponent to run out of answers. For much of Eala's young career, her ceiling has never been in question. On the right afternoon, she can find her timing, catch fire, beat a major name, and make the entire tennis world pay attention. The problem was what happened after those spectacular afternoons. Huge wins were sometimes followed by frustrating early exits. The talent was obvious, but the week-to-week consistency was still developing. Washington may be the clearest evidence yet that this is beginning to change. At just 21 years old, Eala is already the highest-ranked player in Philippine tennis history. She has defeated major champions and top 10 opponents, reached the second week of a Grand Slam, and trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy since she was a teenager. She has won WTA 125 titles in Guadalajara and Birmingham. She also reached the Eastbourne final in 2025 and came within 2 points of capturing her first WTA Tour trophy. She could not finish the job. That created a fair question. Everyone knew Eala could produce another shocking result, but could she keep winning when her level dropped, the conditions became uncomfortable, and Plan A stopped working? Washington has started providing an answer. Against Jang, the challenge was obvious. The Olympic champion possesses one of the most dangerous serves in the women's game. Her first serve creates free points, while her powerful forehand can drive opponents several feet behind the baseline. On a hard court, those weapons become even more dangerous. Jang served 14 aces. Eala served 4. That 10-ace difference should have controlled the match. Aces are not just impressive numbers. They are free points that require almost no physical effort and allow a player to escape pressure before a rally even begins. The opening set followed that expected pattern, with Jang winning at 6-4. The situation became even more dangerous when Eala lost a service game without winning a single point and fell behind by a break in the second set. She was down a set and a break against an Olympic champion with a massive serve. This was exactly where the older version of the Eala story might have ended. Instead, she broke straight back. Eala did not wait for Jang to give her confidence. She immediately erased the advantage before it could settle, and then she kept going. She won 7 consecutive games. 7 straight games against an Olympic champion. Eala took the second set 6-4 and stormed through the deciding set 6-1, completing a 4-6, 6-4, 6-1 comeback. It would be easy to call that momentum, but momentum only describes the result. It does not explain the cause. Jang had plenty of time to adjust. She could change her serve locations, shorten the rallies, attack Eala's forehand, or move forward more often. None of those solutions stopped the run. Eala did not suddenly become more powerful than Jang. Instead, she made the court feel smaller. She returned enough serves to begin rallies, defended with depth rather than simply pushing the ball back, and changed direction without forcing low-percentage shots. She kept making Jang hit one more ball from one more uncomfortable position. There was also a physical concern entering Washington. After a demanding grass court run, Eala had worn precautionary strapping on her leg at Wimbledon. Washington was her first competitive match on a new surface after several weeks away. If fatigue was going to become a problem, it should have happened late. Instead, Eala became stronger. She broke Jang 3 times in the deciding set and won 6 of the final 7 games. She did not win with more aces, more power, or more experience. She won with discipline. Return one more serve. Defend one more corner. Refuse one more low percentage shot. Make the opponent solve the same problem again. 24 hours later, Eala returned to the court and faced a completely different challenge. Fernandez was the 7th seed, the defending Washington champion, a former US Open finalist, and another left-handed player. She also entered the match with recent confidence against Eala. In April, Fernandez had defeated her 6-1, 6-4 in Stuttgart. It was a controlled and convincing victory. Fernandez knew Eala's patterns and had already demonstrated that she could exploit them. Then came the statistic that changed the meaning of Eala's Washington run. Eala hit 10 winners. Fernandez hit 25. Eala still won in straight sets, 6-2, 7-6. Fernandez created 15 more winners and produced far more of the shots that would appear in a highlight video. But the opening set was decided by judgment and error control. Eala committed only 4 unforced errors. Fernandez made 14. Eala was not trying to prove she could hit harder. She allowed Fernandez to attack, then made her attack again and again until the mistakes began piling up. Eala took the opening set 6-2. The second set was a different story. Fernandez adjusted, became more aggressive, found better depth, and won 5 consecutive games to take a 5-1 lead. One more game would have forced a deciding set. The crowd was loud. The conditions were windy. Eala had already played a long match against Jang less than a day earlier. This was not the moment for spectacular tennis. It was the moment for control. Eala won the next 5 games and moved ahead 6-5. Fernandez managed to hold serve and force a tiebreak, but Eala then produced her cleanest stretch of the entire match. She raced to a 5-1 lead as Fernandez began making errors under pressure. Eala then closed the match with 2 consecutive forehand winners, taking the tiebreak 7-1. After 1 hour and 53 minutes, Eala had won despite being outhit 25 winners to 10. Place the 2 matches side by side. Against Jang, Eala lost the ace battle by 10. Against Fernandez, she lost the winner battle by 15. Those are 2 of the clearest ways a tennis player can appear outgunned. Eala survived both situations against 2 accomplished champions on consecutive days. That is what a higher floor looks like. Your forehand may not feel perfect. Your serve may not create enough free points. The opponent may be striking the ball better, and the score may be moving in the wrong direction. A dependable player still finds another path through the match. After defeating Jang, Eala said the mindset had always been inside her, but the progress she had made over the previous year gave her more ammunition to support it. The evidence supports that statement. She now has more reliable returns, better defensive movement, greater patience in neutral rallies, and more confidence when her first plan fails. This is not a sudden transformation into the most powerful player on tour. It is a larger and more dependable collection of solutions. Former world number 1 Andy Roddick has described Eala's rise as a very real story and a phenomenon. His point was not that her journey was complete. It was that the tennis world could no longer treat every major Eala victory as a random surprise that would disappear a week later. The evidence now extends far beyond Washington. In Berlin, Eala defeated Alina Svitolina in straight sets. She also came from behind to beat Elena Rybakina. At Wimbledon, with Iga Swiatek standing across the net on center court, Eala won in straight sets and became the first Filipino player in the Open era to reach the 4th round of a Grand Slam. That Wimbledon victory demonstrated her ceiling. Washington is demonstrating her floor. Winning ugly does not mean playing badly. It means accepting the match that exists instead of chasing the match you wanted. Against Jang, the match demanded returns, defense, and endurance. Against Fernandez, it demanded patience, discipline, and error control. Eala accepted both versions. Washington became her fifth quarter-final of the 2026 season. Her growing list of major victories now includes Swiatek, Svitolina, Rybakina, Jang, and Fernandez, different opponents, different surfaces, and completely different kinds of pressure. The attention surrounding her is growing almost as quickly as the results. DC Open chairman Mark Ein said the tournament made a deliberate effort to bring Eala to Washington. After her participation was confirmed, roughly 80% of ticket inquiries reportedly asked when she would play. Philippine flags filled the stands, and her opening match produced one of the loudest crowds of the tournament. When Eala was asked what it felt like to be so popular around the world, she changed the meaning of the question. She said the better question was what it felt like to be Filipino, and then she thanked the crowd in Tagalog. That support creates a unique type of pressure. Eala is not only collecting ranking points for herself. She represents fans who may be attending a professional tennis tournament for the first time because of her. She has repeatedly described that support as a privilege rather than a burden. Washington suggests she is learning to use that energy without allowing it to control her decisions. Eala entered the tournament ranked world number 28 with limited points to defend during the North American hardcourt swing. The top 25 is within reach, and the top 20 no longer sounds impossible. But one important box remains empty. Eala has beaten Olympic champions, Grand Slam champions, top 10 players, and the defending champion in Washington. She has still never captured a WTA Tour title. That is the next test. Can she maintain this discipline when the finish line becomes visible? Can she make the same clear decisions in a semifinal or final when the pressure of winning a trophy becomes real? Those questions have not been answered yet, but they are now the correct questions. The question is no longer whether Alex Eala can produce one shocking victory. She has already answered that many times. The real question is whether this more complete version of Eala can remain on the court week after week. 14 aces to 4. 10 winners to 25. 2 champions defeated in 2 days. Not because Alex Eala controlled every statistic, but because she controlled the decisions that mattered most. This is not the end of her journey. It may be the moment the entire journey changed.